AW Stats, we've just figured out how to log in, and AW Stats, the web stats are updated daily. Depending on your particular hosting account, you may have an option to update it immediately, or it may be twice a day. Most hosts do it once a day. And from a band's perspective, you want to be reviewing your stats at least once a week. Once a week, it provides a happy medium. In my opinion, it's a happy medium between making yourself crazy over worrying about traffic every single day, and a week is a long enough time for you to notice some trends and look at some traffic sources and see where they're coming from. And if you go any longer than a week, you tend to lose focus on looking at the traffic. And you should remember that traffic indicates you've got new fans. Traffic indicates interest in your band, and traffic indicates that your marketing is getting out there and more people are finding your bands and your songs. You're looking to achieve over time consistent traffic and steady growth. Consistent traffic means there's some type of minimum number of people that are looking at your site and listening to your songs a day, a week, a month, whatever it is. It depends on the size and the exposure that you're going after. That indicates that there's a certain number of people who are steadily interested in what you're doing. And new growth means that you're finding new fans. So either your own outbound marketing is working and you're getting new fans coming to your site, any other kind of promotional material is working, or word of mouth is happening. So your existing fans are telling other people about your songs. And you should try to coordinate your real world activities to traffic increases. So after you do a show, was there a surge in traffic? After you do a tour, was there a surge in traffic? Did you release a new single and see a tour in traffic? And you want to try to coordinate the traffic growth that you see with your real world occurrences and tours and things that you do in real life. That indicates how much of your fans are making an impression. That makes the size of the impression on your fans. And as Okay, so we're going to have a look here and see we've logged into the AW Stats, and we're going to look at the basic outline of the traffic information. So up here you'll see this is where the update occurs, and as I mentioned, most hosts allow you to update it once a day. In this particular case, I have the option to update immediately, so I'll get the latest stats. You can go through the reporting period here, which is either by year or by month. And this particular site I'm looking at, I've picked all of last year, so we could get some clear numbers. And you can see that in the month of January of last year, there were 9,708 unique visitors. And they each visited a total number of visits 17,196 times. Now, what that means is that these 9,708 visitors visited multiple times, in fact, 1.77 visits per visitor, to look at the pages and read the content and see what was going on. The total pages were just over 52,000, or actually closer to 53,000. And for each person that came, they read 3 pages per visit. And then there's some information about hits and some bandwidth, which we'll talk about bandwidth a little later. And as you scroll down AW Stats, you can see there's a graphical and a numerical representation of the trends for each particular month. And the graph is nice because you can sort of see rises and falls and dips, and you can get a kind of a clear indication of what your traffic's like over the whole entire year. You can also trend this out for days of the month, which is right here. And so this gives you an indicator that, over time it looked like at the beginning, I would guess these are probably weeks. At the beginning of the weeks, there was clearly an increase in traffic, and then something happened over here to cause the spike. Now, this is not a band site, but just in case this was a band site, you could easily see that if you've got a pretty heavy tour schedule, that you might see an increase in tour of the weekend. This could be your tour schedule of the weekend, and as you finish up your tour, more people are visiting your site to get more information. And if you had a shape of the graph was like this to me would indicate a pretty good conversion from your real world tour or your shows to online. This is kind of a pretty clear pattern of, if you're doing something like this, it's pretty good. And these spikes here, as I mentioned, when you want to try to coordinate your real world experience and what you're doing as an artist to the digital world, this spike could be something like you've released a new single. So it's brand new content, it's hot, it's interesting, people want to listen to it, and you could see this right here because it could easily indicate a spike in releasing a new. The spike in traffic could be a new single that's released. And there's all sorts of ways that you can split the data up. You can look at days of the week. You can look at hours during the day, and there's a bunch of other stats down here we're going to go through. But the point is that you want to log in, and you want to pay attention to your stats. And as I mentioned, you want to try to be looking at this at least once a week. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about search engines now. And when it comes to being a musician or an artist or a band, search engines are certainly your friend. Search engines are a great source of traffic and are one of the main mechanisms where new fans are going to find out about your website or about your offering or your songs or whatever it is. A study last year found that 49% of internet users use search engines. And in that same study, they found that 39% read news. So more people are using a search engine than they are reading news online. And it's almost close to the people that are using email. And email is considered the killer app across the web. And this number, to me, depending on the age of your fans and the demographic of your fans, I think this number is a little low. Because if you've got a younger following or a following that's technology savvy, then this number is going to be a lot higher, and it's going to be there'll be more than half of your fans looking at you online from a search engine. We're going to switch to the stats program in just a minute. But what you want to look for in your stats program is you want to look for spiders crawling your site. A spider is the mechanism used by search engines to index and categorize your pages. So if you go to Google and you type keywords for whatever it is, and you see listings of different pages and different websites, for Google, that means Google has sent a spider to your site, and the spider has crawled through and indexed all of your pages. And in your stats program, if you're seeing spiders, or if you're seeing problems with the spiders, it could be content or it could be structure. And a problem is obviously that there's never any spiders have ever visited your site. That's a big problem because you want search engine traffic. Another problem could be that a spider has visited one time, but is not coming back. And again, if that's the case, you want to have a look at your content or the structure, because obviously there's something there's something going on that the search engines aren't coming back. And you want the spiders to continually be visiting your site, because that means that your pages are being indexed and they're being categorized. And so as your marketing increases, as your exposure grows, and as you find new fans, the ones that go to the search engines are going to keep finding your site higher up in the search rankings. And for you to get higher up in the search rankings, the spiders have to constantly be visiting your site. All right, so when it comes to the search engine spiders, that section, log into your AW Stats, and you're going to scroll down until you actually see a list of where it says robots and spiders. And this list in order the search engine spiders that are coming and visiting your site. You can see here that Google has come, Yahoo, MSN, several others, and Alexa's come in. And again, this is indicating that a search engine is actually coming and indexing all the pages of your site. And over here on the numbers, the hits indicate how many pieces are actually being indexed. Now, a hit, it could be a single page, it could be a single element. There's lots of different pieces to that. And then this last visit is important because this is an indicator of when they were last at your particular site. And as I mentioned, you want to have search engines constantly indexing your site, because that means that your content's going to show up higher in the search engines. And there's also a full list. This doesn't look much different than what the other one was. But if there's if you can click and go one level deeper, and AW Stats will provide a full list of all the spiders.